Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. We're taking another look here at Solana, double checking a few important factors here, such as this manipulative wave to the downside, followed by an expansive wave to the upside. I highlighted this being a potential reality based on Bitcoin's pattern when we were right here yesterday when I last looked at the charts. And what do you know? Price actions continue straight up ever since then with increased volume leading into a key level resistance. Distinct probability we're going to break the structure for Bitcoin. If you look at Solana too, it is tremendously better chart pattern here so far. So for the most part, if you've noticed, Bitcoin and Solana, the pairing has been pretty poor. So Solana's been performing underperforming rather, versus that of Bitcoin. Anytime Bitcoin goes down, Solana goes down 2x, Bitcoin recovers, Solana comes up by like a half that, right? Right now, though, we're starting to see this break of structure, this local high getting broken. That's much better than Bitcoin is performing. Granted, it's not like phenomenal, but it's showing a shift here and a misalignment, which is a very positive thing, okay? So I'll explain more about that while I pull up the charts here, of course, and kind of go through each time frame. But for the most part, Solana's looking, it's looking like we're breaking this short-term bearish trend. We've already established higher highs. That's a very good start in trend reversals. So obviously getting above 135 to 140 will be a very important factor, but sweeping this local area of liquidation at 130 is a very, very good start, okay? So all that being said, quick disclaimer, FOMC today, make sure you're very, very careful trading into that. I definitely recommend waiting until after to see where the market is going first, just based on being more of a conservative trader myself. We do have 3 trades open right now. We secured profits on 2 of them, SUI and Near Protocol. No, wait, we have 4 trades open. We also have a long on Litecoin, and of course Bitcoin is really close to profit. So the general consensus here is that leave your trades open, but adjust them higher if you have them. Otherwise, make sure you're not taking any new trades until after FOMC. That's the general guideline there. Okay, so that's occurring here today. Of course, make sure you tune into that if you want to kind of watch the shenanigans. But if you look here, these are shenanigans here as well. If you look, take a look at this manipulative wave we see down here to the downside. Super high liquidation delta, basically letting us know we got a lot of shorts in the market. The key takeaway here is that when that number gets too high for too long, you typically see a reversal, which is what we saw at that 120 mark for Solana. We've now shifted that delta to bullish, or more so just neutral, essentially implying that we're probably likely to see a push higher based on that. Oftentimes you will see the price continue further up when you see that amount of liquidation delta shifting. And in addition, and I kind of skipped over this, there is still some liquidation above it, 137 to 140. So the distinct probability of 140 is a likelihood in the near future. That's kind of the speculation. We've also got an insane amount of volume coming in at 127 and 128, and I can assure you folks, those aren't people like you and I. This is essentially a support for us. So the likelihood of further upside is higher because we've broken our local structure, and we're likely to retest that as a new low. So I'll show you what I mean by that once we get to the smaller time frames. Let's start with a daily and work our way down. Just give you some perspective, and I'll update our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, of course, just to give you perspective there too. It looks a little something like this. For example, this is yesterday's potential play out there for Solana, right? We kind of expected it to bottom out there at that support range, which it did, which is nice. But when we look at the macro here, we got to recognize that we're still under the 20-day SMA, and that's hanging out right there at about 136. Once more, a good reinforcement of closing above 140 as a good sign for us here. We also need to have Bitcoin getting closer to 90,000 or higher to be able to have these altcoins like Solana and other stronger large market cap coins to be able to sustain their price action, okay? But the key takeaway is that we're seeing a lot of support. The price has never truly closed below this 118 mark, and that goes back a long ways. But when we look at the daily, we're not breaking bullish by any stretch. So just because we have one good day today doesn't mean that we're back on track. It's a very good small time frame shift in momentum that could lead towards larger time frame shifts in momentum as well. The key takeaway here is we're above our moving average, which is good. While we're not over 50 on the R side, that's generally where I like to be. Stochastic, MACD, these are all good momentum indicators letting us know that that shift in momentum is occurring, okay? So the easy way to understand it here is until we close above 135/140, we're not back on track, because once more you see these previous lows, this is going to work as new resistances moving forward. So we got a lot of ground to cover. We got to be above 136 at the very least. Just say 140 is a round number, because we got a lot of resistance based on local points of control. 4 hour time frame. When we take a look at this, We're over 50 on the RSI, back on track, so to speak. We're over 50 on the SMAs as well. MACD's converging. We've basically got 4 out of 4 reasons to consider a long position. And if we do take a look at this previous range here, you just kind of look here, this area of 130, that's the new potential support. So when you take a peek at the hourly, it's a little easier to see here. But the price action broke its local structure, broke through that high, comes up, likely to come back down to fill its fair value gap and bounce off 129. So I'm leaning more towards, if we have a decent FOMC and things don't get too out of control, considering a long at this 129 to 128 range, okay? Because that's once more that local point of control. We got a lot of support there, and for the most part, we'd be retesting our previous high with a new low. Okay, that's generally what we're looking for there. So this is a very positive sign in the overall sense. We do confirm this here. We get our last confirmation essentially, letting us know we're above the cloud, lagging spans free and clear, conversion lines over the baseline. Pretty much every time frame minus the macro is looking extremely bullish right now. But once more, keep this in mind, we had the exact opposite scenario yesterday too, where everything was looking super bearish and there was a lot of confirmations to take short positions, which even though I recommended you didn't do it, you should have logically thought that way. You should have thought that the price should go down. So I'm mentioning this to you because of how insanely manipulated the market is. Every time you think that the price is going to go the opposite, the direction it should, the trend that it establishes, it reverses itself, goes right back up and sweeps all liquidation. Okay, so that's all the more reason why you want to use low leverage, low position size, maybe be a little more patient, or in essence, just play off of key level resistances and supports. We have a resistance coming up at 136. Hypothetically, that would be a good consideration for a short, right? If, of course, the manipulation continues, which I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. So once more, if I'm going to consider a long at this 129 to 130 range, I'm going to secure profits before we get to this key level resistance at 136 to 140, so that way I can walk away in the green and not feel like a schmuck getting close to my take profit target and then getting stopped out later. Okay, that's generally the concept. So secure profits more often, you'll be happier, I would imagine. There's a correlation between securing profits and not being a complete mess, all right? So just some food for thought. I hope that makes sense. Thanks again so much for watching. To those of you who are either newer to my community or curious how my plus bot works, it's fantastic. It's been working out very well. We're up $665 on a $1,000 portfolio since February 1st. I got a couple of different strategies running so far. Taking profits at profit target 1 and 2 is working very well, but the overall consensus here is that this is it's a nice passive income source. So obviously check that out if you're curious. That's part of our Premium Plus group, which is available through cryptocash.tech. I also recommend, of course, BitUnix too, folks. These guys are awesome. Be sure to check them out. I'll pull up that information that's always down available in the links below. Other way, hope you have a good rest of the day. Thanks again so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.